there, and welcome to Inside Butler Football. I'm your host, Bree Seaver. The Butler football team opened up their season on the road in Illinois this past Thursday with an upsetting 23-15 loss to Western Illinois. In a second, we'll be joined by head coach Jeff Forrest to talk about last week's game and take a look at the games ahead. Stay with us on Inside Butler Football. Welcome you back into Inside Butler Football. I'm joined today by head Butler football coach Jeff Forrest. Coach, thanks for being with us today.
No problem, Bree. Thanks for having me.
So the team kicked off their season last Thursday, and they played in their earliest season opener ever. And unfortunately, they fell a little short, 23-15 to Western Illinois. But you know, the actual score didn't seem to reflect the play of the game. Overall, how did you feel about your team's performance?
Well, I thought we had a great camp getting ready, and the Thursday start was unique and different. And I thought we did a great job, not only in camp, but coming out of camp as far as our preparation. Because when we're really, really good, we spend time preparing, and we understand that you win games on Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday. So I thought our preparation was great. I thought our effort level was off the chart. I mean, we showed up, we didn't flinch, we played from the opening kickoff. Now some units took a little bit longer to get rolling, but we played a full 60 minutes and laid it all out there. So I was really proud of how we played.
Now the Butler offense seemed to struggle a little bit, couldn't find its rhythm so much in the first half, but the defense had an excellent first half. They gave up about 16 points when in reality they could have given up maybe double of that.
No question.
So can you speak about the defense and how they contributed to keep Butler in the game?
Yeah, I mean, defensively, right from the start, the plan was to keep the ball in front of you and keep making them line up again. I mean, if you make an offense line up time after time after time, something's going to eventually go your way. And we did a great job keeping the ball in front of us, and we matched their tempo and their physicality, and it was a great half. I mean, it could have gotten away from us, but we held into some field goals early on, which really kept us in it and gave the offense time to kind of get their feet on the ground and get going.
Now, it's no doubt that the comeback really came in the second half. It came on strong because you guys were down 23-0 midway through the third quarter. Definitely the Butler quarterback, Matt Lancaster, was a vital role in initiating this comeback. Can you talk a little about some of the key plays that helped put you back in the game?
Right. I mean, besides the play of the defense early on, the key was, halftime continuing to believe in each other and trust in each other and understanding that at times a unit's gonna struggle when you're playing on the road. You're playing in Western Illinois. I mean, the speed and the athleticism that they have is going to take you a while to adjust. So defense let us hang in there, and offensively we came out in the second half. The play of the game for me was we had a 3rd and 10 after going down 23-0, and Matt stood in the pocket and hit an out route to JT Mesh and got that first down, and everyone kind of took a deep breath. And at that point, we moved a little bit more than we had, and we were able to go down and score. And kind of that first score kind of got us back in it, and then special teams became a factor by successfully completing the onside kick, which helped us to move forward that way.
Another one of the big plays that I was reading about was when Lancaster completed a pass to Tom Judge it was a 38-yard pass, putting you at the Western Illinois 7-yard line. And it kind of puts you in good field position to potentially end the game. So
right.
What do you think the team maybe could have done differently to take advantage of that good field position in the final seconds of the game?
Well, I mean, that whole drive was, started on our 1-yard line, and there were 2 or 3 plays that had to be made to even get there. But at that point, it was a 3rd down throw, and Matt put it out there, and Tom went up and got it. It was an unbelievable catch. I mean, he timed it well and went up and caught it. And down at the 7, at that point, we'd used our timeouts to get the ball back, and you're into time management at that point. And we didn't do a good enough, clock or no clock, we didn't do a good enough job managing the time at the end. it was one of those deals where you leave feeling like you didn't get beat, you just ran out of time. And if we'd have managed the clock a little bit better, we probably could have had another play to go to the end zone and try to put it in overtime.
Now, I mean, despite the loss, you had a standout on the defense side of the ball. Sean Grady, he walked away from that game with a career high 15 stops, 10 of them being solo tackles. Can you talk about his performance and his contribution on the defensive side of the ball?
Yeah, Sean is an outstanding teammate. I mean, he's one of the guys we rally around. He's been in the program for a long time. He came in '09 and understands what a championship effort's like, and he's given that in his time here, and he's really become a leader of the defense. I think he had a big interception that shortened the field for the offense and allowed another scoring drive in the second half. And I think the biggest thing with his play was the other 10 guys around him. The biggest thing on defense is to be able to trust the guy next to you. I mean, everyone's got to fit their gap and do their job. And by everyone doing their job, the ball bounced to Sean quite a few times. And, you know, the competitor he's going to make those plays when he has an opportunity. So I think everyone did a great job of just lining up and playing their responsibility. And because that happened, this was the week that Sean was in position to make those plays, and you know, everyone's confident that he's going to make them when given an opportunity.
Okay. Now, at the very end, the team was a mere 4 yards away from getting into the end zone. I mean, could you talk about that last drive and what effect that malfunctioning clock had? That was kind of a interesting thing, and could you tell us exactly what happened with that?
Well, I mean, like we said, the drive started with about a minute 55 left. We're on our own 1 yard line, so we had 99 yards to go with no timeouts, and we did a pretty good job of getting there. I mean, guys made plays and guys continued to believe. And when we got down about halfway down the field, the clock went out and they stopped play. We had some momentum going. And I think the biggest thing was not so much the clock going out, but the stop of momentum. So, you know, they got to rest, they got to regroup, and then we ran another play and the clock went out again. They finally decided to turn the clock off. Well, at that point, the communication on time left and you know, became scattered and tough for 11 guys, not only to communicate with each other and what you're doing, but what the time left in the game is. So it became a little bit confusing. But at that point of the game, we knew we were out of timeouts. You knew it was third down. You need to know that you can't leave the ball in the field. And, you know, we just got to do a better job coaching. You know, I think that's the big thing is, you know, we got to do a better job preparing them for every situation that might occur. And, you know, one Saturday's one for the books, you know, that you don't always think about. But we'll be better this week, and we'll be more prepared. And at some point during the season, we're going to get another one of those drives. It's going to be a win or loss type drive, and we'll be better for it because of the lessons we learned Thursday night.
Overall, what do you take away from this game as you move forward?
Well, I mean, I think the biggest thing is, like we talked earlier, is the preparation, the effort we played with. You know, the trust we had. Guys were doing they weren't trying to do more than their job. They were doing their job, trusting the guy next to them. They competed for 60 minutes, and it's hard. I mean, it's hard to win a college football game, and it's hard to line up time after time after time and just play the play at hand and lock out what's happened or what's going to happen and focus. And we did that. We had times where other units weren't playing to the level that Butler expects, and you know, early on the defense was the one holding the rope and keeping us in there, and then the offense came back. Special teams, you know, provided some spark at times. So I think there's a lot of pluses to take away from it. The number one is there's a commitment to each other and a real effort that we play with, and a passion that's going to provide us opportunities down the road.
We'll be back with more on Inside Butler Football after this. Stay with us. Back here on Inside Butler Football. Now we're looking forward to this week's matchup against Franklin College. Franklin actually just came off a 45-7 loss themselves to second-ranked Mount Union. But what kind of things do you think that Franklin does well that could possibly pose a threat to Butler?
Well, Franklin's won for a lot of years. Mike Leonard, their head coach, I've known for, you know, since I was playing in college. He does an outstanding job and has created a championship atmosphere there where they go about their business the right way. They believe they're going to win. They're never out of a game. they can score points in a hurry. They play sound defense. So it's one of those teams that they're not going to be intimidated coming into the bowl. They're going to believe they can win. You know, if they get down, they're going to respond to adversity. They're going to do all the things that championship teams do. So, you know, they're as good as opponent as we're going to play, and there's no question that this week they'll be ready. No matter what happened last week, they're going to come and be prepared to give their best effort.
Now, Butler's won three home straight openers, except for in 2008 when Franklin came in and beat Butler. So is that in the back of your mind at all?
Well, I've gone back and reviewed that game, and you know, the things that happened that night are the things that we're stressing with our guys now. But none of our players were here or went through that that game. But you know, we had an opportunity early that year to get up on them and get a big lead, and we didn't capitalize on opportunities and kept them in the game. And same thing, you know, their program hasn't changed since 2008. They were winning championships back then, and they got some momentum. They came out in the second half and played more, and all of a sudden they got on a roll, and we were back on our heels, and we're put in a situation where we had to respond, and at that point weren't ready to do that. I think it's 2012 is a much different Butler team. But we got to be prepared for, you know, a very similar Franklin team.
I thought it was kind of interesting. This is the first night game being played since 1941, so it's been about nearly 7 decades. Do you think that's going to be a little different for your players who are used to waking up and playing, you know, Saturday afternoon games?
Yeah, I mean, it's the first home game. The nice thing is we played at night last week, so the routine's kind of been set, and they know how Saturday morning and afternoon will go now, so they've been through it one time. The other thing is there's just going to be an electricity that is going to be, you know, off the chart. I mean, I think in our league, you go around and travel. I mean, there's some good football venues, but Butler is as good a game day atmosphere as there is. You know, when you put in the students and the band and the, you know, blue and all the activity that you get with the tailgating and everything, it's a great atmosphere, and you throw it at 6 instead of 1. It's going to magnify, and the biggest thing with our guys is that doesn't change the game. You know, it's going to change for the fans and the students. I think it'll make it you know, a lot more exciting, or make it different at least. But for our players, the game's the game, the preparation's the preparation. What we got to do is just, you know, block out the noise and go about our preparation so we're ready to play.
Right. Now, how do you expect the team to react after such a tough loss last week? Where do you think their mindset is at right now?
I think, you know, when you get in the locker room Thursday night, there wasn't a lot of moral victories going on there. There was some disappointment and some heartbreak, and that's you know, kind of been a springboard for this week. I thought we've had good mental focus over the weekend, over Labor Day, and we're back in the weight room, and practice yesterday was hot and it was a grind, but we fought through it, and I think our guys are in a position where they understand that they can be really good, but they understand that every day is a part of the process, and we've done our job up to this point. We got to keep going, and I think Saturday's tough loss will be a springboard to more positive things ahead.
Now, typically, there's a lot of improvement for a football team between week 1 and week 2. I mean, what would you like the team to improve on from last week?
Well, I think the number one thing we talked about Monday night when we got together was special teams really needs to be a more integral part of what we're doing. We need to create more momentum plays, and we need to flip the field more on special teams than we did. We were really a non-factor in special teams, and you know, if you win 2 of the 3 phases, you usually win the game, and the one that usually tips the scale is special teams. And so we went back to work special teams wise, and just fundamentally our techniques and you know, making sure we're assignment sound, right place, right time, playing as hard on special teams as we do on offense and defense, and having that same mindset that, you know, the most important play in the game is the play that's being played. And you know, the special teams, the ball's in space, and if you do a great job of trusting the guy next to you and doing your assignment, big plays can happen, and we just need to make sure they're happening in our direction.
All right, well, we thank you, Coach, for joining us on the first edition of Inside Butler Football. We appreciate your time.
Thank you, Bree. Enjoyed it.
That's head football coach Jeff Forrest. That will do it for this week's episode of Inside Butler Football. Be sure to tune in next week.